Hey guys, welcome to At the Heart of the Conversation. Um, I know I haven't been on here for a little bit, but welcome everyone who will be joining us. As you can see, I always do this. I don't know if everyone sees it, if me pointing this way will be pointing to you, or maybe I should point that way. But anyway, thank you all for joining at the heart of the conversation, where at the heart of the conversation, whatever is being discussed or whatever conversation is being had, the heart of it is always Christ centered, it's always God centered. And so today, I have my friend, once again, on whichever side, my friend. Oh, hello, Ari the believer. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Um, we have my friend here, Mr. Charles Coleman, and
Charlie Coleman.
Charlie Coleman. Yeah. Hey, Latanya, good to see you. And I'm sure you're probably wondering about the thumbnail and like, who is that older gentleman in the thumbnail? Well, that older gentleman is Charlie Coleman.
Yeah, that's me in the future.
That's him in the future. And so tonight, we wanted to talk about, I guess if you want to say relationship goals, well, more for him. We'll put it that way. It's for him. Where'd he go? He's
Oh,
always,
sorry. Am I back up?
no, you're not.
Oh, somebody called. Yeah. I was getting hot
Okay,
out here
there you
now.
go. Okay, you're there. You're there. But yeah, so relationship goals for Mr. Charles Coleman. For Mr. Coleman. Um, we were talking about, well, how about you share, Charles? How about you share what we were talking about?
Oh, okay. So, well, I found out you can share it on Facebook. It said you have to on the three dots on your side, and you can put share on Facebook like live.
Yeah, but
I was
I
looking
don't
on there.
want to do anything. Knowing me, I'll mess up everything. So I'll try to do it the next time for
Oh, okay.
Facebook.
Oh, so me and Serene just had a conversation, right? Um, Talking about when with kids, since I don't have kids. He's talking about what you. I think we talked about before when I dated a woman with kids. And like with someone with kids, but I ask kind of certain questions. And so I was like, well, preferably I don't want to date a woman with kids. And so I had created like a little hierarchy in my mind. I was talking to Shireen about. So it's like a little hierarchy. If it came to the point where having kids, right, I had a hierarchy. So from the left is like less and right is more, I guess. So left I put it was two boys. Then it went from boy girl. Then it went from boy. Then it went from two girls and one girl. That was like the hierarchy of what I reason why I said that. And she tried to ask me why I said what the reason why because I guess if I don't have no kids, usually I'm trying to look to have a son, to carry your name, legacy and stuff like that. So I was thinking like, how would I be if I was raising another man's child? I kept thinking about it. And for me, I think I wouldn't do that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know if my mind myself would always have some thought about it. That's not really my blood, so not that I'm gonna disown him or nothing, but it was just so I was just thinking about that. So he's like, what? Because you like two girls. Like, oh, okay, that's fine. I still ain't got the son yet. Because my coworker asked me, say, what if you yeah, two girls, three girls, four girls? Like, well, you have to keep going now. We gotta have a son eventually. So,
But that's up to you. You're the one that's supposed to
yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's
yeah.
what my kind of hierarchy thing I was thinking about, like dating women with kids and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's how the conversation started about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your
So
thoughts on it?
what's my thought
Yeah,
uh
the
on
hierarchy I kind of made up. What's your thoughts on like thinking about it?
well, actually I'll ask you some questions.
Oh, okay, okay. So we
Yeah, I'll
doing
ask you
this.
some
All right.
yeah, I'll ask you some
Okay, you ask a
questions.
question. That's all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like, oh, I'm sorry. Also, for anyone, in the chat, I know Latanya's there and Ari the believer is there. If anyone would like to hop on and join us, hey sis, hey on fire. I only changed the time to 15 minutes. It was supposed to start 6 p.m. Eastern time, but I changed it to 6:15. If anybody would like to hop on and actually have more of the discussion with Charles, because it's not,
I might dialogue.
yeah, well, yeah, discussion, conversation,
Yeah.
dialogue. You could put your input as to how you feel. I think the whole topic is for Charles. Charles is single, and of course he would like to eventually get married and have children. But one of his I don't know what to call it. One of his preferences is that he would prefer a woman to not have children. But then I think he kind of changed his thoughts a little bit. And so now he has a hierarchy, as he said, as to
That sounds terrible, right?
yes, it does. If if the woman does have children, what he would prefer, like,
Yeah, there you go. That's a better way to
yeah,
put it. Not a
what he would
hierarchy.
prefer,
What do you prefer?
what the sex of the child he would
Yeah,
prefer the
yeah.
woman to have. And so, yeah, so he just shared a little bit of what he would prefer. And oh Lord, now Chloe's she's laying on top of my she's laying on top of my questions. Um, but okay, as a believer, Charles is a believer. I mean, I think we all are here are believers. And okay, let me get my book. Um, and so of course, first and foremost, um, he would want her to be a believer. Of course, that's
Yeah, that's by default.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
To be
yeah,
said, yeah.
yeah, that's a no-brainer. But
Yeah.
listen, you have your rare few people out there who they don't care. But anyway, okay, so let me get to a question. Okay, you
Mhm.
mentioned about your preference of
Yeah.
what you would like. Okay,
Mhm.
so the question is, uh, your personal beliefs or value, is that
Mhm.
what led you to prefer to not enter in a relationship with a woman who has children? We'll start with that. When you
Mhm.
initially would prefer a woman to not have children. Is it because of your personal beliefs? Is it because of your values that you would prefer?
I say it's a preference. I wouldn't say it's something like sinful or anything like that if you do it. It's nothing related to the scriptures or anything like that. It's just a preference as far as yeah, a woman without kids. I met women without kids, but I kind of asked certain questions about the thing I have to consider if they have a boy or daughter is the relationship with the father. And where is he at? How's the relationship? Um, I think at the time I was in different states until I came to Georgia. So my thought was logistically, okay, I have to move. How's that going to work out if we end up developing a relationship and we move out of the state of where your child's father was at? How's that look like? Like visiting and everything. Then I asked questions about discipline. How is your kid currently being raised? How's that go as far as discipline? Like me taking on that role now instead of that child's father. And then it becomes even more important, like if it's a girl, because it's just different things. Like, so I know women have to kind of trust the guy they're dating also. If they have a child and the guy doesn't, you have to kind of look at that. But I met some women who said that they wouldn't allow their kid to be disciplined, say, by myself if we got married. I want to have the same freedom as if their father did. And that usually kind of happens if they have a good relationship with their father, the child does. So, yeah, it comes from that. It's nothing like sinful. You getting with a woman that has a child, so there's nothing they got to do with that.
Oh no, I didn't think it was
Oh
sinful.
yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
just sharing with you. Yeah,
yeah, it's just
people might think they're like, oh,
just asking. No, but it's funny you mentioned that about not
mm-hmm,
being able to discipline the mom's children.
mm-hmm.
I remember Pastor Sean was sharing that as well on one of his live streams, and
Okay,
he was saying how a woman he was dating prior, um, she did not want him to discipline her children.
Oh, there
And
we go.
that was like
See,
a
I didn't even
game.
know that.
Yeah, that was like a game breaker. What do you call it? Game changer
Yeah,
for
I
him.
didn't even know
So
that. So he
yeah,
experienced the same thing before he got married, and I was, me
yeah,
asking questions.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of, that's difficult because I don't see how a woman, well, let's just say you met a woman who has children and you fall in love, and
Hmm.
but yet she doesn't want you to discipline her children. You're going to be their stepfather.
Hmm.
And especially if they're very young too. I mean, you guys will be like now a unit. Like how, I don't understand, how does she expect you to not function in that role?
Yeah.
And why I mean, regardless if the children have a really good relationship with their father, it's like you're their stepfather. Okay, I'm gonna use me as an example. Although my mom remarried, right? When my mom was
Hmm.
alive, my mom remarried my stepfather. He was from Bermuda. His name
Hmm.
was Leslie Steve. But I was 19 years old when my mom and Leslie remarried. And, my other brothers and sisters are, a little older. And so I wasn't like a little kid, but I was still very young. But I looked to him like he was my own father. And
Yeah.
I, we all grew into such an incredible relationship with him that it came to a point where I no longer introduced him as my stepfather. I was like, this is my
Hmm.
dad, although I called him Leslie, of course, but I was like, this is my dad, and he treated us like
Yeah.
we were his own children. And I sometimes I think that, I mean, I understand we all have our preferences, but sometimes we could possibly be losing out on a blessing that God has for us because of what our preferences are.
Hmm.
And again, I'm not saying to not have your preference. Everyone has a preference regarding whether what someone looks like, blah blah blah, their height and all that stuff, or their job and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, especially I'll just say for me as a believer, I can have my own preference as to what I like in a man, right? But if God knows better than me who's best for me, what I need in my life, instead of me instead of me keeping my preferences, God has this amazing man of God for me. And because there's something about him that I wouldn't necessarily like, I'm just going to push him to the side. What blessing I would be missing out because I'm just going to stick to what I want. And again, I'm not saying you
Hmm.
change your mind or anything. I'm just saying, and I look at that also in regards to like my mom and my dad, Leslie. If my mom never married him, the blessing that myself and my brothers and sisters, we all would have missed out
Hmm.
in that amazing, amazing man who was our who was our father. And especially I can say for me, because I'm the youngest of five, and I was still very young. I was 19. And when Leslie passed, I was 42 at the time. And so
Hmm.
he was in my life longer than the father that I knew. I'll just put it that way. My dad died when I was 5 days after my 11th birthday. So he wasn't in my life very long. But Leslie was in my life for such a long time. And I can say I'm so grateful that my mom married him. I think she was supposed to marry another gentleman, and I don't know what happened. And I loved him too. And then all of a sudden he was gone. But then she met Leslie Steed, and
He
I
had
can't.
kids though, right? Did he have kids?
Well, my mom and Leslie were older when they got married. My mom was like, I think my mom was in her late 50s, and
Oh,
Leslie
okay.
was, yeah, Leslie was in
Yeah.
his 60s. So his children were old enough to be my parents. But there
Oh,
was,
okay.
but
That
even
makes
at
sense.
that age, there was still a little bit of an issue with his daughter and my mom.
Oh, how was
See,
his daughter?
I told you she was old enough to be my mother. I was in my
Oh,
I was 19, 20,
that's
21.
yeah. I guess when I'm speaking of as far as like I'm looking at age also. Like if you have infant, then that's kind of different.
Mhm.
Because it may not be no establishment between the infant and the or say one, two, three, four between that child and the father. I kind of more when I see when it comes down to when you get to the teenage years, and how that dynamic looked like with that. I guess for your father, you said that well, they was older, and I'm kind of curious why I guess like why his daughter, who was older than you, right, will have an
Yeah,
issue
she
with
could be my
your
mom.
mom. What was that? Real close or something like that, or she didn't like your mom or something? What was the reason? Do you ever
I
know?
I all I know is you know how sometimes even no matter how old we get at times, maybe I'll just say with some women, you just want to cling on to your dad like nobody else is supposed to have
Oh,
your dad
I
except
got you.
your mom who passed, or okay, now my dad, you don't get married again. That's
Hmm.
my dad. And that's like, but you're old enough to be my mom. What are you talking about? Like this,
Well,
it's
okay,
not,
now her daughter was she married or was she single?
yeah, no, she's married and have her own kids.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think she.
yeah. And she was
Huh?
like, I don't know how old was she then?
Was she
I don't
taking
know.
care of him or something like that, or living with him, or
No, my
oh,
dad didn't need anybody taking care of
kind
him.
of
No.
yeah, I'm kind of curious why she. That's interesting. But I guess it goes down to when you have a blended family, it has a lot of family dynamics you got to kind of think about and consider. You know,
But I
but for
thought that
me,
was a
hmm?
no, I was like that was a bit weird because she was a married woman with children.
Yeah, that
She
seems
she lives
yeah.
with I mean, there's nothing there really to
Unless
really
yeah,
discuss about.
unless I don't know, she was cautious of who her father was dating from maybe previous
No,
relationships or something like that. Or
no,
not like
she's
that?
no,
Oh,
no. She
but
just
you never
didn't
found
want
out the reason?
I guess she just didn't want anybody with her dad. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Oh well,
but
maybe. So was he married before?
yeah, her mom passed away.
Oh, how soon after your mom met him that
Um,
his?
2 years.
Oh, maybe that was the reason then. I mean, she was attached to her mom, and he recently became a widow, and because of that, she probably had some thought process like, "Oh well, no one's going to be good enough for him but my mom." I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking about
Well,
different things I can think of.
that could possibly be it, but I mean, I
Yeah.
just thought that was a bit much for a woman who's, like I said,
Hmm.
she's old enough to be my mom, and she had
Yeah.
her own life, her own husband, her own children, and my dad was still taking care of his mother-in-law from his first wife.
Oh.
She lived there, so my mom,
Oh.
she married my stepdad, and so she was taking care of his first wife's mother as
Oh, that's a
well.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was again, I wouldn't. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I'm so grateful for having him. I've had him in my life,
Hmm.
um, especially not really having a really strong relationship with my dad. Um,
Yeah.
he was the father that I always wanted, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. He said 19. Okay. I guess
Yeah.
mine just saying me not having no kids. That's how I kind of look at it from that perspective.
Wait, what'd
Preference.
you say?
I just think about me not having kids, and meeting a woman that have kids. Like I was telling you on the phone, I was talking about like I tell you that I see like attractive women. And
Yeah.
then I look like, oh, they got kids. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, you have to be a Christian. But people say, remember we was talking about it. You was like, well, not just attract. We say, well, after attraction, I like, yeah, I'm thinking about other things also. But that's how you open the door. But I look at them like, man, they got kids. Like, what's the? I don't.
Yeah.
Because it'd be on some. I tell you, I'll be on some of the dating sites. So some of the
Mhm.
women that do reach out, like they have kids and stuff. I'm like, you read my profile? Like no kids. What is going on? It's crazy. Like, man, I don't. Yeah, it's kind of I don't know, but yeah,
Mhm.
just kind of just thinking about that. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Yeah.
say anything in the comments? I can't look about.
Well, I
Anybody
have
want to
to
pop up?
Yeah, does anyone, yeah, I know a couple more or one more person popped in. If I'll say it again, if anyone would like to join in on the discussion, I can just let me know in the chat and I will put the link in the chat. Was it thank you for sharing your experience because just think how you can make a difference in a kid's life. Oh yeah. I yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't say it's against that. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just my own.
I know your own preference, but like
So I
I
mean,
said,
like, well, what if you had no kid? I mean, no, I don't. A lot of what ifs. I don't know, but as far as now, and somebody said like, I think like adopting. I don't know, like adoption is. Mm, I don't know a lot of men that adopt. We was talking about before. I don't know if men adopt. On the assumption they already have kids. Now, there's
or
women
maybe
who
they
adopt who don't have kids,
or maybe they can't have kids.
or
That's
they can, but I
yeah.
don't like. Yeah, I never. I've heard women say they want to adopt because they don't want to have no kids of their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I never heard no man say they don't want to have no kids of their own. They just want to adopt. I've never heard that before. Or like I said, they adopt because they already have a family. They already have kids. Like Vodi Bakum, like he said, he was talking about how he only say convinced her. They had a discussion and he's agreed that his wife had what's it? What's the woman? Hysterectomy? Is that what it is? I don't know, but it's something where she
Maybe
couldn't
she
have any
did.
more. Yeah,
Yeah,
when she
that's
got any more
probably what she
kids.
yeah.
So he talking about after that he felt a certain way, so they ended up adopting kids. But I already had kids though,
Mm-hmm.
so
But that's like Pastor Sean as well. You know, he and his wife had 3 kids, but she couldn't have any more after that. Um, but they adopted their 2 daughters, and that's like
yeah,
some of the
yeah,
best
that's
things.
true. Yeah, but he
Yeah,
already had kids before.
yeah,
Yeah, he already had like kids.
yeah. But
That's
I
the
mean,
kind.
but I think she wanted more, but unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
she couldn't have
Yeah,
any more biologically. So, yeah, and just think about the children out there who could actually use an incredible home.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
you could provide that. I'm not
The
saying that
little
you.
children of future. I
See,
gotta do
see,
this. Like get hot
see,
outside.
see what I gotta go through. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, see what I gotta go
Peace
through.
and well, let them lead
But
the way. No, but let's
but
see.
you
Yeah, I
know,
understand it.
but you know who did adopt a son? Um,
Who?
Chris K-Dub from All Things Theology. He and
Okay.
his wife they adopted a son. I don't remember how old he is. He's still a baby. He's the cutest thing.
I
But
keep getting him
unfortunately,
mixed up with Chris Williams, right? The other guy. I
I
always
know,
get them mixed up for some strange
I,
reason. You said that name.
I know.
Okay.
But no, but he and his wife had adopted a little boy, and he's
Oh,
such
that's
a
good.
he's so
So they
beautiful.
don't have kids of their own?
No, because they couldn't. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
there's an
yeah.
instance where they
They
both
couldn't.
wanted to adopt. Hi, Monica. God
Yeah,
bless
that's
you,
true. So
sis.
that
Yeah,
makes sense right there.
yeah. So I don't. I mean, again, I don't know all the people in the world.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not sure if I know you had mentioned that there are. It's like women want to adopt because they don't want to have children. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any women that are like that. I've just heard women who, okay, all right, let me just use me for an example again. And because I'm
Hmm.
older, it's like if I was to get married, I mean, and if I wanted children, I would
Hmm.
have, I would prefer to adopt only because I'm older.
Hmm.
I don't want to, I always say I'm not trying to be Elizabeth, having a baby
Oh,
at my age. I mean,
so it's more the fit. So it's more say it's the physical. It's not because you still gonna have the same time. Whether you bear a child, I say in the end point when you deliver, you're still gonna have that child from whatever age to they get adult. So the time frame is the same raising. Are you talking about the physical
well,
record?
also because I'm older and because,
Yeah,
it could be more dangerous for me physically to have
that's what
a
I
child.
heard, but I never. Well, I
Yeah.
guess for
But
yeah
then
your
again,
own
I shouldn't
personal.
say that because you know what? Since, we're all believers, and if that was God's will for me, then you
Hmm.
know what? He'd bring me through it. Uh,
Yeah.
so, but being older, let's just say I couldn't have any.
Hmm.
Um, I would go on the side of adopting, not because I don't want to. I mean, I've always wanted to have children, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, you know, I didn't get married. My fiance died, and but anyway, that's another story. But yeah. But so like in the case of me,
Hmm.
it's only because I'm older. So it would, probably be safer. But again, we're in Christ, and if it's God's will for me to have a child from my own body, then I believe He'll keep me, and it'll happen because there are women my age and older
Hmm.
having children. I'm like, oh my goodness.
But I
Uh,
never hear no stories about any issues. I know a lot of people repeat that statement, but
yeah, no, I
I
think
haven't heard
maybe
it.
like years prior, but I guess because
Oh.
medical technology and everything is so much better, so
Hmm.
women my age and older are having they're having babies, and
Yeah.
they're okay. So yeah. Okay, so let me wait. Let me go in the comment. Let me go in the comment section and see. Let me scroll all the way to the top. Yes, once again, for everyone who entered in, if you would like to join in the discussion, I can drop the Zoom link in the chat if anyone would like to come on and talk with Charles.
Ain't nobody coming up. I think
Hey,
probably still in the comments. They ain't gonna come up.
yeah, and if you have a question, yes, as my wonderful sister friend Latanya posted in the chat. If you have a question, yes, please put a Q in front, and I will ask Charles the question.
Oh, she posted a question?
No, I'm trying to see if anyone did because I was talking
Oh,
too much. Let me see. I used to be that way. Honestly, didn't care about it. He thought of her like she was the reason to. Okay.
mm,
No. Let me see. No, I like what Tanya said. Yes, our preferences are good, but just maybe we could be missing out on a great blessing and person because of all of our preferences. Look at Samson in the Bible. Just saying he wanted that lady, Delilah, and look
mhm,
what that did to his life. Well, he was like out of order. He shouldn't have been messing around with her to begin
yeah.
with. So I
Is
think
that? I
that's
know somebody say about the blessing. Is that more of a? Do people usually say that if they get older,
what.
you might be missing out on the blessing as far as relationship preference?
No,
I
no,
don't hear.
Latanya's not older. No.
No, I'm talking about like younger, like the 20s. I don't hear anybody making that statement among people getting a relationship. I think as we get older, we kind of okay, well, options may decrease, so
No,
that may happen. And I don't know if they're using it as a guilt trip. Well, why are
no.
you passing on? But it's up. But that could be true. But I don't. Only you would know that. As you kind of get in relationships and talk to people. Everybody can say that from the outside. But I always kind of wonder how certain phases of our life we start, if that's a certain phrase, we start using more prevalent because as we get older. That's what I was saying. Like, I don't know when you was young. Like, well, I wasn't in the church environment during my
Or you weren't
20s.
in Christ yet.
Yeah,
So
I was in Christ during that time. So, but I don't know, like when you was younger in your 20s, did you hear people saying it, expressing it to you in your 20s about, oh, well, you might be missing out on a blessing, you never know, because of your preference.
yeah,
Did you hear
I
that?
well, you really can't go by me because
Yeah, I mean, as far
I
as what you heard, like from others, did you
that's
ever
what I'm
hear
saying.
that?
You can't go by
Oh,
me even being in my 20s because I
oh,
wasn't in any relationships and out. So yeah, you
oh.
can't go by me. You got to go by somebody else who
Yeah, we kind of wonder, like, what's the
No, I,
uh,
I I can say for me when I say that has
mhm,
nothing to do with age. It just has to do with trusting the Lord. And again, I know you and I are like two different I don't want to say, oh Lord. Again, I'm not charismatic. I'm not reformed. None of that stuff.
yeah,
I'm just a Christian, right? I'm a
mhm,
follower of Jesus Christ, but um the way that I the way that I guess look at things through. the lens of the Lord might be in a different way that you do. So when I say um, what Latanya had mentioned, that we could be missing out on a great blessing, um, I don't know how to explain it. It's just that's just the
Oh,
way
I
that
understand.
yeah, that's just the way that I think. It's
I would
like
like
I had.
Tanya to come up. I'm kind
Well,
of curious to answer that question about herself personally.
I wish you would come up.
Oh, she's still on there, or is she not on
Yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah.
I
She's
told her to come up.
well, I sent her the link already, so if she
Oh,
feels oh, okay. Uh On Fire has a question for you. She says, "Have you ever fallen in love? If
mm-mm.
so, if so, were your thoughts on kids the same? Oh, were your thoughts on kids the same, I guess.
No, I've never fallen in love, so
Okay, well, there's your answer. There's your answer. Okay.
I don't even know what that would be like, really, to say I fell in love with someone and not married to them, unless they passed away. That would even I couldn't even fathom that right now. My mindset,
Yeah,
being
I
a
rem
Christian, that don't even make no sense to me. Even say so. Like I mean, for myself, like thinking like, hear people say, "Well, I fell in love with somebody." I like
mhm.
so you was or they like, how can you? I don't know. I just can't comprehend that me saying that, and now as a Christian, and not have never been married to that person.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember you had mentioned that, and
mhm.
again, how you see things and how others see things. It's like I always feel I'm like you can fall in love with a person, not ever like marrying them or intending to marry them. It's your feelings. It's your heart. I mean, you get to know someone and you become close to them. It's you can fall in love. I mean, again, I was in love with my Louis. I mean, unfortunately, I never got to marry him, but it didn't mean I didn't love him and he didn't love me. Um,
Yeah, but I think yeah, but I'll say the situation's different because he passed away.
but
If
even but what does that have to do with me falling in love with?
well, I guess I would look at it differently. If I guess if you're saying you fell in love with someone you never married to them, and then you met another person and fell in love with him, fell in love with that person, and I've been thinking how you divide the two. Or you just felt like is the same level that you fell in love with this person you never married is for this person that you now dating, according to
No,
some kind of
no,
I
because
guess I can't. I guess in my mind, I don't see like this is my own. Like, I don't think how I could even think something like that myself. Anyway,
it's two separate people. I mean,
yeah.
Louis is one person and the other gentleman is the other gentleman. Um,
Hmm.
they're two totally different people, and you love you would love them each in a different way. I'll just say, okay, I'm not gonna mention anybody's name, but okay, there was somebody else that I oh stop laughing.
No, go ahead. No.
Somebody that
Okay, okay, okay. Here's what I want to say. So,
what?
say I guess as me as a man, me fall in love with a woman be somebody I would propose to.
Mm-hmm.
So myself, I couldn't say I was falling in love with some woman if I never proposed to them. That would be me showing the I guess the fulfillment, I guess, as far as the courting, like I'm proposing to that woman. So for women, I can see women falling in love with a guy, but I'd be kind of questioning if that guy never proposed to them. Because some women can say they fell in love with men and never proposed to them, and then they go to another guy. Oh, I fell in love with him. Like I don't. I guess it's the part I'm thinking about, like the process and everything. Yeah,
I don't
but
know,
you
you're
said,
like uh-huh.
oh what?
No, 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 go ahead, then I'll say what I was gonna say.
Oh no, you was about to talk about you about to mention someone you wasn't gonna say their name.
No, 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 forget that. I was I was about no, I was about to say, oh look,
Uh-huh.
there's my
Oh
Saki.
yeah.
Um, I was about to say, you're like the only person that I've ever come across
Hmm.
that has never been in love.
Oh
I've come across other men, yeah, they've been in love with a woman and they say hi, look, my Saki's doing so
okay.
much better. I'm sorry.
But you say you met guys who felt was they married to that woman?
No,
That
I
don't
mean,
seem.
and
It just
even
seems
with
weird to me. I don't know. Just me. Just that don't seem. I
it
don't. That
see,
just. I can't even think that. Like.
and it seems weird to me that you've never been in love.
Yeah, I don't. Because I'm thinking it should. Um, if you fall in love with a woman, it should be toward marriage. I don't see it really like outside of that. For me to say
Oh,
that to another woman that's not, I'm not, that doesn't even. But I can see from them. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be kind of curious. Like, yeah, that doesn't. I heard a lot of
but
women say they fall in love. I fell in love with this
but a lot
man,
of men say the same thing too. Like, not
and then
you, but
oh, huh. I be kind of curious. I want to ask him some questions. Like, okay, so you was so in love with this woman, but you didn't marry her, or you didn't propose to her, unless you said no or something.
but there's a lot of people that have fallen in love with each other, and for whatever reason they didn't get married, or maybe they did get married, or again they're just dating for a
Hmm.
long period of time. But to hear you say, even though I you told me that before anyway, but and when you first
Hmm.
told me, I was like, you've never been in love. It's like,
Mm.
do you not allow yourself to
Hmm.
open your heart? I mean, because I'm sure you. I know that you dated women in the past, but it's like
Mm.
you didn't even come close to opening up yourself
No,
to
we
them.
can't talk about this on this. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm just like,
No, I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
joking.
I'm just saying
No,
because
no, I never had. No, I'm like kind of different. Like I said, like I'm talking about like moving around, and yeah, it's different for me. If I like, I know my parents, my brother would know that. Every woman that I introduce to them, they would know that's my wife. If
mhm.
I say I'm in love, that's my wife. I can't even see. I'm thankful for that for myself. And how I look at it, that I never had that experience like that, because I think that should be reserved for your wife. If we go like biblically, like you think about it, how we, I guess things how we supposed to do things, it should be that one person that we get with, and that's our spouse. I don't think
Mhm.
we should have divide our feelings and emotions to different people at that level. I don't think it should be like that. But I mean, that comes with it where we have, like, I guess that's how I'm looking at, where you have like you saying you in love with multiple women that you've never married. Like, I don't think it was supposed to be like that in the beginning. So I think because of what we do, it's our sin and how we look at things and approach relationships, that puts in ourselves, we getting ourselves in that situation. That's what, for me, I'm thankful I never had that experience like that, where I can say I was in love for a woman, because in my mind, thinking right now, not back then, but thinking what I know now, that would be the person I would have been married to.
Mm. I don't know. Like I
I
said,
mean, as a
you're
Christian, I can't say outside. Like when I wasn't a Christian, I guess I can, if I see myself in that situation. But now, I can never. Yeah, I couldn't even fathom myself as a Christian saying I'm in love with a woman that I'm not having proposed to or married to.
mm,
So because as a Christian, you get involved in relationships, it should be towards marriage.
yeah.
So for me to get in a relationship like that and not marry that person, say I was in love with that person, wouldn't seem right to me as a Christian.
Okay. Well,
But
like I say,
yeah,
you're
so.
different. Again, you're very very
Hey,
different.
hey, you
Because
want to jump it up? Is that Tanya?
is that La Tanya?
Oh,
Let me
Latanya.
see. Hi, Elmo. God
Oh,
bless
jump
you.
up,
Okay.
Elmo. Jump up, Elmo. Don't be shy.
Yeah,
Don't be a
yeah. If
fly on the
anybody,
wall.
if any, you know what? I'm just going. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see. Joey. Okay. Yeah. If anybody wants to hop on, there is the link. And you're welcome to come on. There's another question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, sorry. So, a question, Mr. Charlie.
Mr. Charlie. Funny.
How do you get to the point of falling in love without courting?
Yeah.
Because you do date, so what are you doing then with dating?
Yeah, courting. Yeah. I think that goes to the point when you're courting. So for me, I was telling Shireen, I had like a list of questions I asked. Maybe people don't like it. It's too structured. Some people might appreciate it. Like, oh, thank you. But I have a list of questions. I told Sean I have a list. I have a list of questions I asked. So we even get to the point about, this is going out and stuff. I have to ask these questions. Now you might meet women like in person you find attractive, but then when I kind of reflect on, like, okay, attractive, say you go out, and then I found out these questions. I found out the answers to the questions before during the time. Like, man, what was I doing? Oh, that's just my thought. I don't know. People say, well, you gotta meet somebody. And I don't know. I just want to get straight to the point. Like, and it doesn't mean after they answer all the questions that you would want, that means that that's the person you marry. You still have to go out with that person, see how they interact with people. But there's a kind of like, what do you call it? Questions that there's, what's the phrase for it? not divide. What's it called? Uh, I don't know this question. So anyway, I asked like you a Christian, things like that. Like if a woman doesn't want a guy that doesn't smoke, right? If he smokes, would you rather find it out now by asking the question, or wait till you go out with them and you having a conversation, having dinner, and say, "Oh, you smoke?" Like, yeah, I smoke. I guess depends on your motivation and what you okay with asking up front, comfortable asking up front. So I just ask. I'm comfortable asking questions up front. So that's my thoughts on it. Yeah.
Okay. I see. Oh yeah, on fire says when you really fall in love, you want to
Hmm.
marry that person and build a life. There is loving
Hmm.
someone and be in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
So.
course there's a difference between loving someone and being in love. I mean,
Hmm.
like I love you guys, but I'm not in love with you all. Like
Hmm.
you guys are, you're my brothers and sisters in Christ. So yes, I love you. And then when it was Louis, I loved him, but I was also in love with him. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a totally I know being in love and loving is totally different.
Hmm.
Um uh the only man in my life right now. Oh, Monica says the only man in her life right now is Jesus. And if one does happen to come along, he better be a follower of the Most High, period. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's right. That's so very, very, very
He
good.
said, "Oh, yeah, that's fine."
Huh?
No, I kind
What'd you
of
say?
understand. No, I kind of understand that statement she said. What she mean by the only man in her life is Jesus.
What
That
you
was
gonna
sad.
say? Only
No,
women say things like that?
no, yeah,
I don't say that though, but
no, but
I
that's
know,
true.
I know,
You can't like,
I know. Yes,
yeah,
you're
no
right.
guys,
Only
no
women
men.
say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
men don't be like only men because it's like, what? Wait a minute, come on, like you want to get married? No, I don't need nobody right now. I'm cool. Being single with the Lord, the only man in my life. Like, wait a minute. It just got, I don't know, just kind of just interesting. I'm not saying that's usually in that context, but yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Okay, now, oh, what happened?
Remember Sean said people, I don't know, was he saying that? Jesus is my boyfriend or something something like that.
Oh, I can't. I hate.
Oh,
Oh gosh,
yeah.
I
Yeah, he
hate
said,
when women say that Jesus is my boyfriend. I'm like, no,
what?
Jesus is not my boyfriend. He's my savior. He's not my boyfriend. I'm like, I hate that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like what is
Uh,
going on?
okay. Asking questions up front is okay. Oh, Latanya says asking questions up front is okay, but you do know that not foolproof people can be great. Huh? That asking questions up front is okay, but you do know that not foolproof people can't be great actors.
Oh, she talking about, I've heard it where you say, well, you can ask questions, but they might not show themselves because they could be acting, not really telling you the truth until later.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that could be true. I mean,
But
eventually you start asking more questions, though, it's going to reveal themselves. You know, that
but
she's clothing gonna come off that wolf, so you gonna find out. You gonna find out eventually. To ask questions, just ask questions.
but part of me,
Uh,
kind of hopes that and again, I know none of us are perfect, but I would kind of
mhm.
hope that us as believers, I mean, we wouldn't try to, pretend. I mean, I know you have people out there that do, that
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
but I would hope as Christians, that we're not going to try to be fake and phony.
Is that still Tanya there, Latanya? That's still her?
Yeah. But
Oh, tell her
Tanya,
come on up. She got the link. Ask if she got the link.
yeah, she does. I sent it to
Oh,
her.
okay. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to see. Oh, on Fire says, I know some gentlemen that are like you, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Her son believes the same thing as far as children, and that the girl he loves will be his wife. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, wait, let me see. Okay, let me ask you.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, actually, how about you just keep sharing what how you feel about, or what should I ask another question? You actually kind of like answered the questions that I already have down here anyway. Sorry, I have the fan on because it's pretty hot in this room.
What's the questions? What's the other?
Oh no, I didn't ask you this. Have you discussed this with other friends, families, leaders, pastors about how you feel?
That's with my dad. My brother knows
Hmm.
some of the stuff I kind of ask. Ask not that like I have a list of questions. My brother knows. Lady that I know, she's married. She knows, and she sent me the advice. Well, you shouldn't be so. Yeah, be more organic. I guess you call it organic. And I told her like, well, I can't cater to every woman in the world. Then I'm gonna just ask the questions. I'm
Right.
like, well, I believe like if the woman doesn't really want to answer, then that's not the one for me. If she feels offended by it or something like that. Actually, you said so. There was like so two, so two, so I asked one question. The lady was offended. You don't need to ask this. I'm gonna go and answer it. Another lady, she answered, like, "Oh, appreciate you for the answers." And so it was kind of crazy, like just a different like perspective of who wants to answer those questions like that. I wouldn't be offended if women want to ask me questions. I wouldn't like, okay, I'm gonna give you the answer.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel any kind of way. I guess some people like you said you're on an interview, but I think you are interviewing though when you're trying to court someone.
No, yeah, I guess,
It's
especially,
not in the format that people used to. Straight up, let me give you a list of questions. Then you're
yeah,
gonna answer
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like go out, eat dinner, spend some time, whatever, have a good time. But okay, but that's then you get to the questions. But I think if up front, be intentional. Like, okay, these are the things that I see that are what's the word for it? I don't know the phrase. Like, I wouldn't want a woman to smoke. That's the question I've asked. If she smokes, like, okay, well, I'm not really gonna be interested. But somebody said, well, you can go ahead and give her some grace, and she may. Well, it's a conversation like you trying to quit, but even then, I'm kind of like hesitant. So,
Hmm. See, again, I'm gonna go back
but I
to
know
the
it's some
whole
smoke.
being a Christian thing. Like, I mean, again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying there, but like,
Oh, that what you're saying? Go ahead, say it. That's what you think. That's your thoughts.
what?
That's your thoughts. Christian smoke. Say what? What you
No,
about to say?
that
Oh,
I mean that that I would okay. Like when I met Louis, that was never a thought in my head to say to ask him, "Oh, do you smoke?" Because of course I'm just naturally assuming, "Oh, he's born again.
oh,
Why in the world would he be smoking?" Or
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, like I said, although I know there are some believers out there who are struggling with that, but that's very
Yeah.
like far and few in between. So
Mm-hmm.
certain questions, I mean, there would be certain questions I wouldn't ask, like something like that. Or it's like, oh, do you do drugs? Well, I would hope not.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm like, are you really serving the Lord? But yeah, um, yeah. Let me see. Uh okay, yeah, no. Even Latanya saying she doesn't like that statement. Oh, Jesus is your husband. Yeah, same thing with On Fire. She's like, yeah, she doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
she hates that also. Yeah, I don't like that. I think the women that say that more that I think are more in like the NAR camp because that's where I heard it from.
Mm-hmm.
I
What's the
heard it from
NAR?
New Apostolic Reformation.
Oh, okay.
And even with a lot of them, like their doctrine is anyway,
Oh.
yeah, but I would hear it from them. Oh, Jesus is my boyfriend. Like this lady that I had met a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh no, I'm single, but Jesus is my boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, he isn't. Like,
Yeah, maybe it's just a traditional, or maybe it's a way to cope with something. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I to me, I find that in that particular camp too,
Mm-hmm.
they romanticize Jesus, and I
Oh,
think
that's a
that
good
is
word. Yeah,
it's
romanticize.
disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
disgusting. I'm like, he's not your boyfriend. Jesus is not
yeah.
your boyfriend. He's not your husband
Uh
per
huh.
se. It's like he's our savior. He's
What do they
our
say
king.
what do you think when they say my daddy? What's your thought?
Oh no, no. Well, let's say that about the father. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, I
daddy.
was
What are your
like,
thoughts on that?
I don't like that. I don't. Again, but that's just me. I don't because I know people
Mm-hmm.
who call the father. He's my daddy. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's not my daddy. He's my to
yeah.
me. To me, if I
Mm-hmm.
was to call the father daddy, to me that's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can't call him daddy because that's like bringing him down to like a human level. I'm like, no, he's my father.
Hmm.
Anyway, yeah. So, anybody have any questions, please, for Charles? Anybody want to
Yeah,
pop
good
on?
question. Yeah, nobody gonna pop on thing.
Latanya, you want to come on and maybe share your thoughts or ask
Hmm.
okay, no, she don't want to come on. She goes, what advice would you give a guy who is searching but has a what best friend right in front of him and the person is a believer and is attractive? What is holding the guy back from proposing?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know. I couldn't really. Get to pop on the panel on the video and then share more because I wouldn't. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. It'd
Ah,
probably be easier if you ask that question on the
oh
panel.
my goodness. She said, okay, Mr. Charlie. Why is she calling you Mr. Charlie?
Oh, okay.
She said, you're going to get some hard questions. We are just warming up.
No, that's
Uh,
fine. I'll pop on the panel. I might answer questions. If
yeah,
I don't know it. I don't know it.
Charles doesn't shy away from he don't shy away from anything. Like he
No,
said,
no, no,
if
no.
if he knows it, he knows. No, you don't. You don't shy away from stuff. But if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And that's it.
What?
There we go. And she thinks she's the wife of Jesus. Oh, yikes. Oh,
The wife of Jesus.
yeah, on fire was saying, and the new age. There was a girl on YouTube who claims she's the wife
Oh,
of
okay, okay.
Jesus. All these crazy people coming out of the woodwork.
Hmm.
I'll go back to the whole adoption
Yeah.
uh thing. It kind of reminds me of what Jesus has done for us. What is it? Galatians 4:4-5 says, when the time came to completion, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those under the law so that we might receive adoption as sons. And then in
Hmm.
Romans 8:15, for you have not received the spirit of slavery, although we were enslaved to sin, but we are no longer are. Um, uh, sorry, we have not received a spirit of slavery leading to fear again, but you have received a spirit of adoption as
Hmm.
sons by which we cry out, Abba, Father, which, Abba means daddy
Hmm.
in Hebrew. But it's like the whole adoption things as well. If it wasn't for Christ, we would not be adopted into the family of God. And
Hmm.
even let's just say, even if you got married and okay, maybe your wife did want to adopt for whatever reasons, that also can be another blessing. Okay, that also can be a blessing. As to what you can do in that child's life, as much
Oh
as
yeah,
you
no,
may.
yeah, no, I agree
Mhm.
with that. I think even adoption though, I don't know. I would want them. I don't know how it goes. Eventually, I would want that adopted child to find out who their biological parents are. It's just something to always like know who they are and yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, I think just for me, like I said in the beginning, just like the one way kids kind of yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, what?
No, I just
I
went
don't know what you say.
old
I don't
age.
know
I'm
what
an old age. I was like zoning out. My dad said he
you
was zoning out. Old age. Ginkgo biloba. Get that ginkgo biloba. But yeah, so
Oh my goodness. So,
yeah, that
mm,
kind of thing. But I
yeah.
don't know what Latanya.
Look,
Yeah, she
Tanya.
has a question. I don't know. I mean, you have to come up because I don't really because I understand. I heard the question, but I don't really know what context it is. Like I've been kind of asking questions like, is he attracted to her? Like, what's so funny? Funny.
No, no. On fire says everybody bring it to Charles. It's like just
Yeah, I was
bring
like,
him.
I don't know. Go
Bring the
ahead.
But that's what I said about Charles. He's not. You could bring him hard questions, and if he can answer, he'll answer, and if he can't, it's like he's kind of like I always tell him. I'm like he's like a duck. You just let
Oh yeah,
things.
you said his love
Yeah,
off the
you
back.
you
Like,
yeah, you kind of remind me of my first oldest brother.
Mhm.
He like you could never tell like if he's upset or something because
Oh,
he just lets things roll off of him like a duck. So
yeah.
yeah. But that's an admirable trait about Charles. Sometimes I wish I could be like that, like
I guess and then more. I guess I don't know if that's the same thing where you rolling off your back. I guess you. I don't know that has a. So is he? Is your? You said your older brother? You said about that thing?
my first oldest brother. Yeah.
Oh, your first oldest brother. Okay. Was
Yeah.
he an empathetic person?
More than you?
I'll be
Yes.
talking about me. I was gonna ask you that question. So you let it roll off. I want to roll off when you get there. Like okay, roll off, whatever. Okay.
No,
I'm
roll
like,
off
oh
in
yeah.
regards to him. Like if somebody's asking him
Oh, okay,
questions and
okay,
blah blah
okay.
blah,
I got
or
you.
if he gets upset, like you can't tell if he's upset because he
Oh
just
yeah, I got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. You two are kind of similar.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Yeah.
Mm.
In that whole but then again, my brother is what? He's 9 years older than me, so um yeah, he lives in Long Island, so
Oh.
I don't see my brother, that much. But yeah. Let me see. Oh,
Hmm.
Ari said, I don't know, you all kind of dealt with everything I could ask. As a single young man, I'm beginning to approach courtship more like Charles says. Oh, okay.
Oh, with the questions and stuff.
I don't know, is it with the questions or is it with just,
Yeah. All
or
right. Come on up the
also about the
panel.
whole falling in love thing?
Yeah. Come on up on the panel.
Yeah, Charles wants people to come up,
Yeah.
which would
Cam,
be
what's
nice. Then I could drop out. That would be great.
yeah? What do you say? Cam up. What's that? Cam up or shut up? That's like what
Oh
you saying.
Lord, no. No,
I
no,
know
no,
not
no.
that context. Not
Yeah,
that.
no, yeah, never. No. Anybody else have any questions for Charlie Coleman?
Yeah, I will give you my food.
Oh my
I eat food.
gosh.
Food. I
Oh,
just
not exactly questions. Oh, he said not exactly questions, because usually you don't have to even ask.
oh
Oh, okay. I guess I'm assuming it's more of the part of falling in love with the woman um to eventually become her spouse.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
you talking about romanticizing? What you think about that song "Falling in Love with Jesus"?
I
You think
don't
it's a romanticizing song? I just thought about
know.
that in my mind. I was
I love
thinking
the
like,
falling in love,
yeah,
Jesus. No, I don't think no.
you don't think it?
Falling in love,
Hmm.
Jesus. No,
Hmm.
I don't think it's a romantic song. No, I think it's just beautiful because
Oh,
it
okay. I was
is.
just thinking about the phrase. I was just wondering.
I
That's
know, but
all.
I know, but you can use that phrase in two different ways. Like I am falling in love more and more with Jesus. Um, but that's in the loving him, not being
Oh
in
yeah,
love
yeah,
with him.
yeah. Oh, I got you.
But I've heard men say that too. But again, that's in the more in the NAR camp. They talk
Oh
about,
yeah.
I'm in love with Jesus. I'm sorry, I'm pulling this T-shirt. I'm sorry, but yeah, they'll say that. Even this particular person that I
Oh, you got that
follow,
one shirt on.
huh?
I saw what shirt that is now.
Yeah, it's the Johnny Cupcake one you sent.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. But okay, here's a question for you. What if you felt a connection with someone, but teen she had teenagers for a child?
No, no.
No.
So no. Reason why? Okay, so me is like I don't have any kids, so I want kids, multiple kids. At least the daughter and the son, right? And that's why I was making a joke. I mean, $4. Okay, we gotta get a son. So for me, usually when I meet women who have kids, they usually say, "Well, I maybe have kids with the right person." It just makes no sense to me. You're gonna have kids with the wrong person, but or they be like, "I want to have one more kid." Because usually women who have kids, especially like teenage, if they thinking they're gonna have kids again, they're thinking, "Well, I'm gonna be another mom." Because yeah, that's what usually happens. So they really don't want multiple kids. And
Mhm.
usually the women I come across with kids never been married before. I haven't came across. Let me think. No, I've never came across a woman who was divorced and had kids. Most women I came across
or
with kids
widow?
was, oh yeah, widowed or like say divorced. But most of the women are single mothers,
Mm.
so they feel like, oh, I've been raising this kid on my own during this time, and they may think, okay, getting married, they're probably still thinking like, well, I raise this kid again, being single again, whatever happens. So yeah, I've never. So like usually going back to like multiple kids, like teenage kids,
Hmm.
unless they would be okay with having multiple kids after that. But I haven't come across any women that express that like after having kids they want multiple kids. Usually
Yeah.
maybe one more if they say that. But when you say maybe one more, that lets me know like you really don't want to have no more kids. You really, you saying maybe that means you really don't want to have no kids. You just
Yeah.
that's the way I interpret it anyway.
Okay. Well, does
Yeah.
anybody want to hop on? I know I keep asking that. Anybody want to hop on? Jump on, please. You can ask your questions personally to him.
Yeah. All right. Come on up.
Anyone, please, please
All
hop
right,
on.
come on.
I'll put it back in the. I'll put the link back in. Don't be afraid, please.
Don't
Just
be
come on.
afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Can you still see me?
Yes, I can still see you.
Oh,
Now
I
I
can't
can.
get on my phone. Oh, you can't?
No.
You see me now?
Yeah. Yeah, no, if somebody
Oh,
calls you, it'll take you off. Or
oh, you know
yeah,
what?
you
No,
can.
I moved the video to the side.
Oh,
Oh, you know what? This is good. I can't get on my phone, look at my stuff.
no. Oh, no, because it'll, I guess, cut you out or.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm looking at my stuff right now. I didn't know. I thought I could, but now I can't. Okay, that's good then.
Wait, you can see the chat?
No, not the chat. I mean, like my
Oh.
phone, my notes and stuff like that.
Oh, great, great. Oh, what?
That's what I was
Oh,
kind of looking at. I was just kind of looking at stuff like, oh,
okay, okay. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Because I don't really have any more. I don't really have,
so yeah. I don't have any more. I guess I'll end with if you want to end right now. Eat my food, but
yeah, Charles is hungry, so like,
also I was thinking about I can look at my notes now, which is good. I mean, I was reading thinking about myself desiring to get married and praying about who my wife is. Then
mhm.
I have kind of thoughts about what I want to look like, right? This is what I want to look like. Oh, okay, this right here, okay. But I
Wait,
guess regard, hmm?
you what?
Prayer about what you want your wife to look like.
Oh,
Like you have a vision. You feel like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not like putting like together Voltron, but like you have kind of like your wife. Like, because women have preference on what their husband look like. Because you share me, the type of men that you're attracted to.
mhm.
Even though you put this, well, I want to miss out on the blessing. It's not really my preference. But you have like your preference, right? You share with me.
I do, but I'm serious when I said
Yeah, I
that.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm not so.
Mhm.
No, I was thinking
I
about.
mean, he still has to. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
still like him to be pleasing in my sight, but he doesn't have to be like what what I like. You know what I like, but he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be that. Because again, I'll say for me,
Uh-huh.
no one knows better than the Lord who is the right person for me. I
Yeah.
understand, again, the way that I see things, and also
Mm-hmm.
because I'll always go back to Genesis. God could have created more than one woman, and he could have said, Adam, you choose, but he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what Adam needed.
Uh-huh.
And again, we don't even know about Adam. We don't know if Adam was longing for a mate. It just said God knew that he did not need to be alone. It didn't say anything about Adam was like, well, God, are you gonna, is there somebody like me? No, it was nothing like that. But
Yeah,
God
yeah.
knew he did not need to be alone. And so he knew exactly what Adam needed. So
Yeah. I think yeah,
uh,
I agree with that. I guess like going back to the kid situation, I keep thinking about. I don't know of anywhere back in the Old Testament where you had people come together and the woman had a child. I think
Well,
that's something
yeah,
that
that's.
in the culture, and then even in the New Testament, the believers. I don't know if anyone was that had children already.
Hmm.
Like I don't even know between like the pagans or the Gentiles before they came to Christ. What was that like? Like, was there women who had kids or they didn't have kids? Like, what was it looked upon? Because
I
I'm
think
trying to think, was it even frowned upon back then? Even those who wasn't, having kids out of wedlock. I don't even know that's
I think it would have been because it was even like
yeah.
that many years ago.
Unless it's
That
like
was,
rape or something like that, that
yeah,
case. But I don't know where.
yeah, the
Yeah, okay.
whole, yeah,
Yeah, that made me kind of think about that. So, thinking about, kids and stuff. But the reason I was saying, like, I said, after gonna go eat though, because I was tired. Remember, I got my notes now, so I was thinking about this verse right here. So Philippians chapter 4, verse 6-7. It says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication." Wait, hold on, let me read it. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
yeah,
And that kind of sums up your channel. Christ Jesus is always in the heart of the conversation.
yes,
Typically, we get a little thing that goes, right,
yeah,
like, oh, look at my fault, like say, gonna be having a little thing.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
gotta
but
work on all that. Oh, but
yeah.
I can definitely answer that question for you, but I'm not going to. Um, here's what Tanya asked: Would you date outside of your ethnicity?
No, I'm an Israelite. I only do the truck. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, of course. I don't know. I would
Right.
say something my ethnicity. I think there is a cultural. You have to kind of look at the cultural differences, though. That's one you have to consider. Um, but I but I keep thinking in the perspective of someone who are not believers. If you have believers, there's still gonna be cultural differences, but you all are one brothers and sisters in Christ. So I think that transition or whatever or integration between the joining of two cultures to be better because you're gonna be open to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. Like, oh, I know, I want to know about your culture more. So that yeah, but yeah, I would be open. Yeah,
I mean, but that's even what he's saying because Charles is not one ethnicity; he's two.
yeah,
So he's half Chinese and half African American. So,
yeah. So
but yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see anything
no,
wrong with that at all. And it's like I remember you had said something to me. I think it was you. Yeah, I think you said something to me. Was it you? I don't know. It probably was. Just with different ethnicities coming together, just how beautiful, not just your relationship, but even your children, how beautiful they come out.
yeah. I think we
But
was talking
listen,
about
we're
the church and stuff also.
yeah,
We
we're
need to talk
all a
about
bunch
another
of,
time.
huh?
I
Oh,
think we had a good conversation. The church and the multicultural or segregated churches and stuff. Kind of. I've always thought that. I guess you want whenever you want, but I always thought that just to think about that. Even when I first came to salvation, I wanted to be in a church that was multicultural. I
hmm,
would intentionally go to churches that wasn't black just to sit in there.
right.
Yeah, because I was like, why, and I would. This is one thing I would do is I would ask the church there if there was a church a couple blocks down. I would ask them like, do y'all speak with that church a couple blocks down? Do y'all uh, fellowship with them? Because in
Hmm.
my mind, I didn't share, but I was thinking like, well, you have a big church and a couple blocks, you have a small church. Do you know if that church needs assistance with anything? Like we should come together. Like I don't know who was established first, who had the land bought out and erected a church, but I will always think about that. Like if I'm a part of a church, I know there's a couple churches blocks down. I'm gonna make my way over there and talk to them. Like, how's your service going? How's the believers there? Like, oh, y'all run your church this way a little bit different than ours. Like, y'all want to come together, do something together. That's just I guess my heart just thinking about it like that. I never, whatever part of church, like I try to find to become a member. I know his church is blocks down. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, forget them. And I don't know if a lot of members do that. Christians do that. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can speak on it more. Have you, if you have a church a couple blocks down, but you're in New York though, so is churches like close like that, or they like
Yeah,
is in the
yeah,
city?
especially
Oh, okay.
Like in Brooklyn, and I could say there's like a church on every block.
Hmm.
But like Brooklyn
Yeah.
Tabernacle, where I go to, Brooklyn Tabernacle is humongous.
Hmm.
But that's like the only church over there. But
Oh, okay.
even like another church that I went to before, um, but it was a Catholic church that was across the street. So
Hmm.
again, we don't believe the same thing, but there was another church that was like well, few blocks down. I mean, you'd have to kind of drive down, but they
Yeah.
knew each other because um my pastor at the time there was renting out that particular church that
Hmm.
the other pastor down at the other church, that was his space. So they knew each other, but people don't really go from one church to the next church. So we don't typically do that. Not
Okay.
unless maybe you're having some sort of if you're gonna have a conference or something and you're like inviting the people to come, but it's not like, okay, if Brooklyn Tabernacle, if there was another church, you really go down there and fellowship. I mean, you can go to each other's church if you want to, but it's not something that you did like, because this is the congregation you go to, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I
this
guess
is
I guess
yeah,
I find out when I become like kind of get involved like that. I mean, I don't really have it's not realistic expectation I'm thinking about, but it's something I always thought about though, about that. Get involved with the other churches and see what's going on in their ministry, their congregation, the people there.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's something I always kind of thought about. I never wanted to be kind of segregated like that in my eyes. I don't think it should be like that. I understand people get familiar with their own people, but yeah, it's just something I just kind of think about. So, but anyway, all right. Well, thanks for having me on your what is it
Did I
podcast.
say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm saying, well, I posted
Wait, wait, wait,
did
wait.
it.
Latanya says, I really like how the Nigerian culture does things when it comes to marrying. They actually do still do a dowry, bride price, and you have to get permission from the bride's father and mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see nothing
Red,
wrong with that.
pink, purple, or blue. If you follow Christ, I am good with you.
That's
Okay.
good.
On fire for Jesus. Oh, okay. I like that what you said. Although I would be running if I saw someone red, purple, etc. Okay. Oh my goodness. Ari says you leave when she's ready. No,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
no, but I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to hold Charles up. I know he's hungry.
yeah,
I am too, kind of too.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, I gave my cat some. Oh, I know this is not about cats, but I did want to mention something about my cat Socks and Chloe. For those of you um who know, I mean Latanya knows, and Charles knows. He probably gets sick and tired of me anyway. But no, I have two cats. I have two senior cats, Socks and Chloe. They're both female. Chloe just turned 15. What are we in? May. She turned 15, May 15th. Yeah, May 15th, she turned 15. And Socks, God willing, she will turn 16 in August. But my cat, Socks, has a heart condition. And she was diagnosed 2 years ago with an enlarged heart. She's been doing exceptionally well, and I have to say that's all God's grace. No matter what anybody says about animals, I know what God has done for both of my what God has done for both of my cats. Chloe, who in 2020 she was diagnosed with diabetes, but God healed her of it. I'm not gonna go into the whole story because I could tell you the story, but God healed her of it. Um, a couple of weeks ago, I noticed Socks was just breathing a little heavier in her stomach area, and so I was like, okay, I told my sister I gotta take her to the vet. Good thing I did because, the vet did an x-ray and showed that she had fluid around her heart and her lungs. So she had to stay there a couple of days, and of course I was a basket case. I was crying, crying, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Socks came home a few days after that, and I still have to give her the medication that I'm giving to her. I just have to add a baby aspirin twice a week. and I have to give her medication twice a week. She was doing well with once a week. Don't hang up, Charles. I'm gonna
Mhm.
let you go so you can eat. But yeah, I know he's hungry, and I don't want to hold him up too long. But I just wanted to say that you did see Socks. She was up here. She's gray and white, and Chloe is all gray. But I have to say, Lord, thank you again, for just for your grace for my cats. Again, I know I'm not gonna have them forever. None of us will live forever here on this earth. You know, we all have a lifespan, but I'm just grateful to the Lord for his graciousness, because he doesn't have to answer my prayer the way that I'm asking him when it's time for both of them to leave. But I'm just grateful that he cares enough that even Socks is still holding up. And I have to say she's a fighter too. She might be a little scared of everything, but so she's doing pretty good again. Little Chloe's here sleeping next to me. So, but yeah. So I just wanted to share that. But thanks, Charles. I'm sorry. I don't want to hold you up. Thank you for once again,
Oh yeah,
joining.
no problem.
Yeah. Thank you. I guess this was kind of short and sweet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hi, daughter of the king. God
Are
bless
you
you.
late?
Hey, stop. She, she's already saying she's late. It's okay. No worries. No worries. Thank you for just hopping in. Charles is hungry, and I don't want to keep him,
Oh,
too
but
much.
yeah, that's cool. So I think you have to do yeah. I guess talk about like you editing your video and stuff. Make it. I would like some people to come up though. That'd be good. Like interaction.
Well, that's
Kind of listen.
if you decide you want to pop
I
back
think
on.
I think you'd be good at it on Facebook though. If
Yeah,
you can
I'm
post
gonna.
off because you got more on Facebook, right? People. So if you have on Facebook, people gonna pop up and look at like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I'll
So
figure that out. I'll watch the video for that so that I can live stream it to both places. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, thanks, Charles, for
Oh, no problem. De nada.
thank you,
Gracias.
Charlie Coleman. Thank you
Charlie
so much.
Coleman. Yeah. What
Yeah,
else? What
so
else start doing at? Oh, Waffle House. Like who eats breakfast for dinner? Charlie Coleman. Yeah.
yeah, that's because I asked you I asked you a question about that, and that's when you started with the whole Charlie Coleman.
Yeah. I feel like y'all crazy. They say I'm crazy, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really is.
Yeah.
He's a piece of work. He's a
Oh
piece of
yeah,
work.
true. My mom say he crazy, silly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's a piece of work. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say I don't. Man, I was gonna say something
Mm.
else. Oh Lord, I don't know. I don't. But yeah. So yeah, everybody. Nice to see you too. I mean, I wish I could see all of your faces actually. I'll make sure I'm ready to come up and discuss next time. That would be awesome, Ari. That would be awesome, awesome,
Who's that?
awesome.
Ari?
Ari the believer. So you have
Oh,
to come in, Charles. But anyway, Charles, you're supposed to come on here.
hmm?
You're supposed to come on here, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Come on up.
No, you're supposed
Oh, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
to. Anyway, okay. I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you, Charles.
All right,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Yeah, uh-huh.
No, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you for popping on. Thank you for, it was supposed to be not so much of a conversation this time, but just you sharing your heart of, you
Oh
know,
yeah, no problem. Yeah, we got that scripture in the end.
yeah,
I
yeah.
forget.
Can you read it one
Philippians.
more time? I'm sorry. Can you just read it? I know it, but can you read it one more time if you can?
Oh yeah. It's Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 to 7. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Jesus. Yeah, people talking about that. Yeah,
Amen. Amen.
yeah. All right.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. God bless you all. Thank you all so much. God bless you all, daughter of the King, Latanya, Ari the believer, Monica. Thank you all so much. Elmo, I know you were here for a quick moment.
Yeah,
Thank you
I'm on.
so much. And Charles, thank
All right.
you, thank you, thank you.
All right.
And
And if y'all
until
want to
next.
donate, I'm gonna throw my cash. Now I'm just done. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, y'all
Until
could
next.
support. Y'all could put some Serene though. Serene put a cash app up there. If y'all want to support her channel and stuff, you know.
What? I know.
No, I'm saying I'm not telling y'all to. I'm not gonna throw the Malachi chapter 3 verse 6 to 8. Curse with a curse. You know, no, okay. All right then. Well,
Okay.
thanks everybody for being on the I keep saying podcast or broadcast. I don't know.
Live stream.
Okay, live stream. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you all. Until next
All right.
time. Take
All right.
care,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.